Hey folks, welcome to the kickoff for our newest developer contest. We're super pumped. This is a topic that I'm personally super excited about. So it's great to see y'all. It's great to kick things off. I will go ahead and share my screen to walk through some stuff. Howdy folks, we're jumping on now. Okay. Great. So hopefully everybody can see that. So our contest this time around is developer tooling. We are looking to find some applications, find some submissions that essentially make developers' lives easier, make development faster, contribute better code, higher quality code, deploy tests, all the stuff that we do every day. So I'm super pumped for this one. I'm going to go over some logistical details first, like usual, and then I'll kick it over to one of our guest speakers here, Raj, to kind of add some more color, and then we'll close out with the bonuses for the contest today. So like I said, developer tools contests for InterSystems. The duration here is going to be from July 14th to August 3rd. So we're kicking it off today. It's officially open to start submitting applications, and then we will close submissions on August 3rd. We have a prize pool of $12,000, which is great, and we'll talk about the distribution of those among different parts of the podium shortly. But first, we'll jump into the topic. So like I said, this is developer tooling. Developer tooling kind of has a broad category. It doesn't have to be a very precise definition, but we say here, right, to improve the developer experience with IRIS. So that could help you develop applications on IRIS faster. It could make your code better. Things like testing, deployment pipelines, monitoring, all of these different facets of development that developers are doing every day. This is all stuff that counts towards this topic. I like to frame it as, if you're building something that you would find useful, that counts. It's already something that we would love to see. Some general requirements, these are largely the same, but I'm going to cover them all the same. The application has to be fully functional. It's got to be working, and it shouldn't be just an import of something that already exists, with the exception of maybe C++, where you really need to do a lot of work to create the interface and make it work with IRIS. Basically, we just don't want you copy and pasting things that already exist for submission. These should be new. These also, our accepted applications are going to be new to Open Exchange. They could also be existing applications in Open Exchange. If this is a part of this contest, you've done really significant improvements. We're going to review all of them. So our team of experts is going to take a look at all of these, and we'll make sure they conform to guidelines. So definitely put some elbow grease into these and make something really cool. The application should work with Community Edition or IRIS for Health Community Edition, and you can download both of those locally or use them in containers. Not picky there, but obviously they should work with IRIS, and they should be open sourced. We want them to publish on some sort of hosting platform like GitHub or GitLab, somewhere in version control where we can actually see them. And the README file should be in English. It should have the installation steps. How do we get this up and running? How do we use this? And then either a video demo, which is always very, very appreciated and very cool, or at least a description of how it's supposed to work. And then the last note, this sometimes is a surprise to folks. You can submit multiple applications. You can have multiple entries, but only a maximum of 3 per developer or development team. We want to leave some fun for other folks as well. So no more than 3 submissions. Jumping into our prizes here. So we have the same 2 categories as usual. We have kind of our experts nomination and then our community winners. So our experts nomination, we say especially selected jury, which sounds a little spooky, but it's just a bunch of folks at InterSystems who are subject matter experts. We'll review these and we're going to vote and select some winners here. First place wins the grand prize of $5,000, and then the prize values get a little bit smaller and smaller, all the way down to 10th place. So there's plenty of opportunity to win, even if you do not win first place. If you don't make the podium, there's definitely a good reason to continue submitting. And then our community winners. So this is a separate category. This is where you all are the ones actually voting. This is not controlled by us InterSystems folks. And the first place here is going to win $1,000. And then again, going from second, third, fourth, fifth, with smaller and smaller amounts. And this is a bonus for just putting the ability to determine the applications you like most in the community's hands. So this is all on you all. Who can participate? Same old, any developer community member. So we as employees, Raj and I and Evgeny, like we're not eligible, but some contractors are, and basically anybody else who's a community member can participate. You can also participate in teams. It's not limited to just one individual person. We ask that you limit teams sizes to between 2 to 5 developers, just purely so that we don't have teams of dozens and dozens of developers working on one single application. We want to really see folks working on stuff in kind of smaller groups. And then if you are a part of a team, if you're working with a bunch of folks, please highlight your team members in the README and make sure to just include your DC user profiles so that we know who was all working here. So deadlines, I alluded to this earlier already, but just to get really specific, the application development phase and the registration phase, that starts right now. Technically, it started at midnight tonight, but I'm talking to you now. So that starts on July 14th today. You can start registering. You can start building your applications. We encourage you to do so. The deadline for submissions is July 27th. So you have a couple weeks, maybe a little over a couple of weeks to build your apps, get them polished, get the READMEs all written, and then to submit them. After that point, we start the voting period that begins on July 28th. So right after submissions close, our panel of experts is going to start reviewing, downloading, messing with your apps, seeing how they work. And we'll begin the voting process, and that will go until August 3rd. That's when voting ends. All of our votes are going to be in, and we will determine the winners. Important to note, you are totally entitled. You can absolutely improve your apps. You can push changes. You can make tweaks to things throughout the voting and registration period. We encourage you to try and keep that limited, and try and, if you do have changes or things you want to push, try and do that in the beginning of the voting period, just because as we go through the applications, if you make some change that happens after we've voted, after we've already looked at your application, we might not catch it. So definitely try and get your submission in by the submission deadline as complete as possible. But of course, you can push some changes if necessary. Some helpful resources here. So on the topic of developer tooling, we've included some example applications that fit this category that are already on our Open Exchange. Most of you are probably familiar with things like Web Terminal, but there's also a bunch of different applications here, many different types, to really demonstrate the full suite of what we mean when we say developer tooling. There's also some templates here that are just great starting points for building developer tooling. They're from all different aspects of the IRIS ecosystem. Some of them you can see we have interoperability over Python, but there's also analytics templates. So really trying to cover as much ground as we can, trying to show you the full suite of templates for things that you can build with IRIS. If you're just getting started, this is maybe your first project with IRIS, we also have some just beginner learning paths and trainings to get up to speed. And then if you want to leverage things like InterSystems Package Manager, we also have some materials on that. It's not a requirement, but it can be very helpful for folks installing and using your application. And then similarly, how to publish to Open Exchange, submit applications, etc. So yeah, that's the requirements here. I'll go over the deadlines one more time. Starting today, last chance for submission is July 27th. And then the voting period will begin until August 3rd. So for those who aren't super familiar, we always have some bonuses for the developer contests that we run. These are basically incentives to use either specific technologies or to engage with the community in specific ways that incentivize folks to really dig in and with the meat of the topic at hand here. So we'll go over these now. There are different values. You can see them on the screen. I'll also call them out. For technology bonuses for our developer tooling contest here, some of the technologies that will give you extra points if you leverage them in your application, Iris Vector Search, if you use that, embedded Python, interoperability, InterSystems IRIS Business Intelligence, the VS Code plugin or plugins, the extension pack, if you build a VS Code plugin, Fire tools, all of those things are technologies that if you leverage them in your solution, you get a bonus 3 points. So you can use some of those, all of those, none of those. It's totally up to you. Some deployment related things, if you use a Docker container, if your application is built and containerized, you can get 2 points. And similarly, if you package it as a ZPM or IPM, InterSystems Package Manager package, that's another 2 points. For some community and like onboarding or educational bonuses, if you have an online demo, you'll get 2 points for that. If you implement a community idea, you implement an idea that's in our ideas portal as a part of your solution, that's worth a whopping 4 points. Obviously, we love when folks take ideas and implement community solutions. If you find bugs, this is another interesting one. If you find a bug in embedded Python, that's worth 2 points. And worth noting, Evgeny has said this before, but we only get that bonus once. We would very much appreciate if you find a bunch of bugs, but that's just something that if you run across it, you could get some bonus points. I would not recommend the strategy of trying to earn dozens of points just finding many bugs, which hopefully don't exist. Some other things. So an article in the developer community, your first article is worth 2 points. If you write another article related to your project, that could be worth another point, but there's no bonuses for your third and fourth articles. Of course, we encourage you to write as many as you want. A code quality pass. So if the code is written and it passes a bar of quality, you can get a bonus point for that. And then for some last little community pieces, if you have a video, either a video demo or some other YouTube video related to your project, that's worth 3 points. Creating short content, which I guess it's like the TikTok equivalent on YouTube. A YouTube short is worth 1 point. And then for all first-time contributors to incentivize participation, you have a full bonus of 3 points. And this article here includes some more specific descriptions on how exactly to accomplish these bonuses. So I won't go through this all exhaustively, but if you are interested in participating, you have an idea for what your application is going to look like or how it's going to work, and you want to try and leverage the bonuses here, we will have more specific ways to accomplish that here in this article, which is also linked from the developer contest kickoff page. So you'll be able to find that, no problem. I've been talking for a while. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Raj to chat a little bit about developer tooling and the contest. Raj, if you want to jump in.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Hey, I just wanted to jump on and throw out a bit of a request for applications in a certain area. We're particularly interested in submissions around the full stack development ecosystem right now. So as most of you probably know, many years ago, we deprecated the Zen framework, and it is quickly, or not so quickly, but it's definitely getting very near its end of useful life, even as a deprecated technology. So, in general, what we've been doing the last few years is recommending that people build REST APIs and then complement those with really high functioning, rich web applications, Angular or React applications. Now that's a strong strategy. It makes a lot of sense for a lot of organizations, but it's kind of heavyweight for some people who don't have large or sophisticated front-end dev teams who can handle the creation and maintenance over many years of a big Angular code base or React code base or something like that. So, and also when you do that kind of three-tier development, you lose some of the benefits of and the convenience of accessing data or accessing your data close to the database. And that was some of the things that Zen was really good at, making data rich or data centric user interfaces really easy for InterSystems developers to get going with. And so we've had some good offerings from partners that are very sort of InterSystems native and object script centric, and fill some of those, pick up where Zen framework left off. They do a good job of that, but still sort of suffer from some of the downsides of the Zen framework approach. And we've had some more modern efforts on Open Exchange from these developer contests, usually in the area, like using Streamlit or some other things. And those are good starts, but I'd like to see those mature as well. I think there's a lot of promise there. And there's also, I think, a good opening to experiment with there's sort of a new generation of front-end development or UI framework technology, things like nice GUI, which lets you build in Python, like really quickly do sort of backend specialists, allow you to create UIs very quickly. So I'd love to see some things in that area. Yeah, and just leave it with, I don't know if we've talked in this call about the deep sea web application. So one of the things that came from one of our original contests is migrating itself into the product. And so just like to end with a little shout out that your application or your framework could eventually make it all the way into the product at some point. And like many have, we had our ObjectScript extension started off as open source from a community developer. Deep Sea Web started that way as well. So thanks for all your submissions and all your hard work and creativity. Looking forward to seeing all these this summer.
Yeah, awesome. Totally agree, Rush. Thank you for that. You've heard the call for some areas of really, let's say, fertile ground for this particular topic. I also like to think when it comes to developer tooling, as cheesy as it is, be the change you want to see in the world. If there's things that you find difficult or that you find, like you could use some tooling, build it. It's a great opportunity to enter that into a contest to make your life and other people's lives easier. Awesome. Evgeny, you came off, was there something you wanted to add to?
Not particular, but I just see that we have chat now here in this setup, so we have some interaction. So I just want to encourage developers for like contributions, because as Raj mentioned, you Derek, that indeed this is maybe the most fruitful contest ever, because developers love to build developer tools, and thank you for doing this, because developer tools, they help us to develop faster, better, more convenient, improve our lives. It's something that kind of time and effort investment into better productivity, and so I'm looking forward, and thanks for you guys already did, and we are looking forward for more contributions of such, and just want to say thanks to InterSystems developers community, which is really like a very sharing in a way, like that a lot of dev tools were just contributed open source and then matured and became even like a day-to-day tool for a lot of us.
Totally. No, I 100% agree. And I think that's something that has stood out a lot joining InterSystems and seeing y'all in the community actually go from building a community solution that becomes so popular and so widely depended on that it ends up becoming a part of the product. That's not something that you see in every community. So big thanks to you. Totally accurate, Evgeny. So again, I'll say one more time, open today. It is going until the 27th of July. That's your time frame for submissions. We look forward to seeing all the amazing stuff you build, and thank you all. Best of luck.